Hi, my name is Bob German and I'm SharePoint Practice Director for Blue Metal Architects. Today's topic is Sandboxed Solutions. Now, you know, I gave a talk on Sandboxed Solutions once and everybody thought I was talking about the developer's sandbox. In other words, a place where you would go to try things and experiment on your solutions. That's always a good thing, but that's not what I'm talking about with Sandboxed Solutions. Actually, it's a great feature that's kind of undiscovered that came out with SharePoint 2010. It's the ability to run code that isn't completely trusted in an isolated sandbox so that it's safe and secure. And what that does is it allows business users to install the code directly in a site collection in SharePoint without having to go say, may I please, to the farm administrator who may or may not know what that code is going to do to the rest of their SharePoint installation. There's several different things you can do in a sandbox solution. You can write web parts that run in the sandbox. You can write what are called event handlers, which means anytime SharePoint content changes, you can react to that change and go and run some code and do something special. You can write workflow actions. So if you've ever used SharePoint Designer to build workflows, you can actually put custom action code into the sandbox and run it. And you can also augment InfoPath forms. So if you build forms with form services and there's something that the form needs to do that's not built into InfoPath, you could actually write some code and put that in the sandbox. So they're very flexible in that way. They're also a little bit limited in that for security reasons, you're only allowed to get to the content inside of the SharePoint site collection where you're installed. You can't reach out to other site collections, you can't reach out to the network and call web services or talk to databases or line business systems, because if they allowed you to do that, well then somebody could probably do something that they shouldn't do. Also, by the way, it's worth mentioning that there are resource quotas so that you can actually limit the amount of CPU, memory, I/O, and exceptions that get thrown by these solutions. My tip to think about with this is that the perfect complement, if you're writing these kinds of sandbox solutions, the perfect complement to them, particularly for web parts, is to use client-side code. So in other words, if you write your code to say you want to reach out to a line of business system, if you write the code in JavaScript or jQuery or in a technology like Silverlight that runs inside of the browser, the sandbox solution can deliver that package to the end user. It just looks like a web part, they drop it on the page, and then you're actually using the client to reach out to that line of business system. It has a few real advantages, not the least of which is that the browser is actually going to handle the authentication against that line of business system. So you don't get that dreaded multi-hop authentication, which is so hard to set up. So that's the thought for the day. Sandbox solutions are your friend. Thanks.